Hey, welcome back, Geminis. This is going to be a tarot reading for the week of July 17th to 23rd. So get you guys kicked off first this week. Today's a Wednesday, so I'm thinking Mercury and Gemini and Virgo today. Past, Five of Pentacles. Present, Three of Swords. A lot of heavy stuff. King of Cups, hidden influence. Reverse Six of Swords for the advice. Page of Cups. We got a couple people there maybe. I'm going to use the voodoo deck here and put those down as well. So okay, the past you had this Five of Pentacles. I think this relates to last week where there was this releasing of burdens that came up in both the past and the likely outcome too. And since we had a Queen of Pentacles and we had a reverse Four of Pentacles as well, like this hoarding of money nature. And that's why I'm thinking there's this kind of poverty consciousness that was associated with the past. And that's what I thought I felt that releasing the burden was coming through because the abundance was the hidden influence. And so I think that there has been an overcoming of this poverty consciousness. And then here in this present, there's this card of forgiveness, this Three of Swords. And I think maybe that had to do with some relationship in the past or some association for the past, interaction with a family member, somebody you had a close relationship with where you felt the need to hold on to the money, or you felt this poverty consciousness, something that you couldn't receive wealth or keep wealth because of a relationship. And now I'm seeing here with this, just like last week too, there's a letting go of, or giving forgiveness to the past to unburden yourself from having the same poverty consciousness, knowing that you can accept going forward. And then, I mean, this is pretty strong right here. We've got the King of Cups and the Page of Cups. So a lot of controlling your emotions, or not controlling, but allowing your emotions. And yeah, so King of Cups here in the hidden influence is now you're in touch with your emotions. You're not afraid to feel them. I think that's coming up a lot here with this forgiveness too, is that when that emotional experience can be just allowed and observed and not judged, not prevented. And I said controlled. I would say not controlling, but just allowing for that to flow freely. Then, he's in charge of his domain. I think a lot of development internally can come from difficult situations that bring up to the surface emotions that need a release. And one of my coaches told me having a difficult emotion or some sort of anger around a situation, it's like that emotion is there knocking on the door, or you're running a hotel and you don't want to let that emotion in because it's uncomfortable. You feel like maybe the emotion is going to disturb some of your other guests at the hotel. So you just keep it outside and you say, well, we don't have any vacancy for you, even though you do. And then that emotion just returns every night, knocking on the door, and you continue to keep it out, tell it that it can't have a stay. But as soon as you do allow that emotion to come in and have its room for the night, it has its room, then the next morning it packs up and it's on its way. And it's not knocking on your front door anymore after that. So I think that's the experience of the King of Cups, because I associate King of Cups with Scorpio. So having that rebirth experience, he's holding his cup a little bit closer to him because he's not as willing to, just, I guess, let it all hang out for everybody. But he's been through that death and rebirth process. He knows the value of the emotion for that purpose. And because he's gone through that purpose, he sits above the water. He's not pushed one way or the other by that. I mean, here in the likely outcome, this Page of Cups is the beginning of that process. So he highly values the emotion, but there's a sort of kind of illusory nature of this fish here. We don't know if it really exists or not. So he's more going with the way of the water, just as a fish would. The King of Cups is more measured about his approach to allowing the emotions, kind of separating fact from fiction, separating fact from what is exactly in our mind, and he has dominion over his space and how his emotions relate to the rest of his life. Yeah, we've got this water here again in the Six of Swords, and this is usually, when it's upright, it's a card of moving on to calmer waters. But I think there is a sense of allowing those waters just to be there, whether they're calm or not. But I'm getting kind of, yeah, we've got a lot of water here in this sort of creative nature, but I think that there is this, as part of this unburdening process that came through last week, it's allowing for whatever the feelings are of, if there is any sort of fear or residual sort of negative feelings, so to speak, feelings that are more difficult to experience, allowing for that to take place. And then here I'm seeing this as reversed as we don't want to dominate it with our mind. We just tune in our body of where that emotion is taking place. And, we can allow the thoughts to be there about what's going on and what it means, but we don't need to follow that rabbit down its hole. For this, I would say like emotions over mind for the time being, and just let that process take place. Allow the mind to have its thoughts, but we don't need to judge them or follow them. And I think that's what's going to bring forth this great development, because we had in the present card before, we had judgment, which is that rebirth into the new. And I think, you have these allusions to water births, or like the baby in the pregnant mother's belly is in the amniotic fluid until it is born, and then it has that big gasp of air. So there's a lot of water or liquid in this birthing process. And so that's what I'm really seeing forward here is that there is a new beginning. You've got the page right there. And it could have something to do with the relationship, but I think that it's kind of overcoming any sort of thoughts of scarcity, particularly to money, pentacles, finance, because that was pretty evident in last week's as well. So I really like this process right now, and it seems like it's in perfect timing for this Leo season coming up, where I think you're going to get to enjoy a lot of the fruits of this process and enjoy your week. So allow that emotional experience to be there, and it's not going to harm you. It's going to be the best thing for you ultimately. There you go. Enjoy mid-July, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.